Children, today I will explain second part of metals and non-metals, that is chemical properties of metals and non-metals. That day I explained physical properties, and today I am going to start this chemical properties of metals and non-metals. Children, now we will discuss the reactions of metal and non-metals with various chemical compounds. First of all, we will discuss about the reaction with oxygen. Okay, so when any metal reacts with oxygen, they form basic oxides. They form oxides which are basic in nature. Like iron, when react with oxygen, it forms ferrous oxide, Fe2O3. And you know, children, this is rust. This is the chemical formula of rust. Rust is Fe2O3. Okay, remember. And when magnesium ribbon, you read in class 7th, when magnesium ribbon is burnt, it forms basic magnesium oxide, isn't it? It is also basic in nature. And how we will come to know they are basic in nature? You know, we can collect some rust from any iron object, any article. If any iron article is rusted, we will scrap all the rust, and then we can make its solution in water. And if we will bring red litmus and we will dip red litmus into this solution, we see that this red litmus change into blue. It changes into blue. Why? Because the rust is basic in nature. You know, basic substances changes red litmus into blue, isn't it? We read in class 7th also. So that's how it is confirmed that all the metals form basic oxides, while non-metals, when react with oxygen, they form acidic oxides. Means they will turn blue litmus into red. Okay, and non-metals, you must have seen sulfur, when reacts with oxygen, it forms sulfur dioxide. And when sulfur dioxide is dissolved in water, I told you earlier about the acid rain, isn't it? I told you when many oxides of sulfur, nitrogen, carbon, they are released in the atmosphere, and when they come in the contact of rainwater or any water, moisture, they form acids. When the sulfur dioxide comes in contact with water, it forms sulfurous oxide. So sulfurous acid, see, H2SO3. Isn't it? When carbon reacts with oxygen, it forms carbon dioxide, and this carbon dioxide, when comes along with rainwater, it forms carbonic acid. So see, acid is in their name itself. So they are acidic in nature, isn't it? So here we read about the reaction with oxygen. Same way, other metals and other non-metals also react in the same way. Now we will discuss about the reaction of metals and non-metals with water. Okay, in previous slide we read about the reaction of metals and non-metals with oxygen. Now we will read about the reaction of metal and non-metal with water. Okay, so first of all, let's begin with the metals. You know, when any metal react with water, they form hydroxides and produce hydrogen gas. One example is given in the slide. See, when sodium is reacting with water, it forms sodium hydroxide. See, NaOH is sodium hydroxide and produce hydrogen gas. H2 is hydrogen gas. Okay, same way copper, magnesium, manganese, all the iron, they form their hydroxides when react with water and produce hydrogen gas. But non-metals, children, generally non-metals do not react with water. Okay, most of the non-metals do not react with water. There is no reaction of non-metal with water. Okay, now listen children, sodium is very reactive metal. It is very soft, I told you. It is a soft metal, isn't it? But it is very reactive. It reacts vigorously with oxygen and water. When it comes in the contact of oxygen or water, at that time, you know, it reacts vigorously and a lot of heat is generated. So what happens? That's why it is always stored in kerosene, not in water. Okay, sodium is always stored in kerosene. because if it is stored in water, it reacts vigorously with water, it catches fire also, and a lot of heat is generated in this reaction. Okay, as I told, sodium is very reactive with water. There is a non-metal phosphorus which react very vigorously with air, not with water. Phosphorus react vigorously with air. That's why phosphorus is always stored in water. Don't get confused. Okay, now we will read about the reaction of metal and non-metals with acids. Okay, see children, acids can be hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, nitric acid, many more. So when metals react with acids, they form metallic salt and produce hydrogen gas. Like sodium, when sodium reacts with hydrochloric acid, hydrochloric acid, it forms sodium chloride. You know sodium chloride is common salt. Sodium chloride is the formula of common salt, isn't it? And it produces hydrogen gas also. See, you can see in the reaction 2Na plus 2HCl producing 2NaCl. NaCl is common salt. H2 is left. H2 is hydrogen gas. Same way, iron, when Fe plus 2HCl, Fe reacts with hydrochloric acid, it forms ferrous chloride, FeCl2 ferrous chloride plus hydrogen gas. Isn't it? See, two examples are given there. When metals react with acid, they form their salts and liberate hydrogen gas. You know, children, as I told you, non-metals do not react with acids, isn't it? They do not react with water, also do not react with acids. Why? Because non-metals are the acceptor of electron. They accept electron when react with acid. That's why no reaction is there. While metals, when react with acid, metals donate their electrons. And that's how reaction take place. Okay. Hence, non-metal in general do not react with dilute acids because they are the acceptor of electron. They cannot donate electrons. But non-metallic oxides like sulfur dioxide, phosphorus oxide, nitrogen dioxide, nitrous oxide, they react with water and form acids, as I told in previous slide. When carbon dioxide react with water, it forms carbonic acid, isn't it? Nitrous oxide react with water, it forms nitric acid, isn't it? And one more thing I told, when sulfur dioxide react with water, it forms sulfurous acid. Told, no? So that's how metals and non-metals react. Non-metals do not react with acids. They do not react with water also. Now children, we will discuss about the activity series of metals. See, or you can say reactivity series also. You know, it is a series. Series means, you can see there is a series shown in the slide in which metals are arranged in the decreasing order of their reactivity. Means at the top of the series, see, potassium is there, potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium. It means in this series, in this series only, potassium is the highly reactive metal. Okay, and as you go down, you see their reactivity decreases. Okay, how I will discuss, we will discuss this later on. After this, first you see this reactivity series. It's a series in which metals are arranged in the decreasing order of their reactivities. Okay, the reactivity is decreasing if you go downward, or towards up, reactivity is increasing. Okay, this side Ka, Na, Ca, these are the chemical symbol of these metals, which are written on the left hand side, and right hand side is their chemical symbols. Okay, gold is gold's symbol is Au. Au means auric. Okay, silver's chemical symbol is Ag. Mercury Hg, copper Cu, lead Pb, tin Sn, iron Fe, you can see, isn't it? And you see, from potassium to lead, these metals are more reactive than hydrogen, because hydrogen is down. See, hydrogen is after lead. So before hydrogen, all the metals are which are situated above the hydrogen, they are more reactive than the hydrogen. Copper, mercury, silver and gold, those are below hydrogen, those are placed below hydrogen gas, they are less reactive than hydrogen. Okay, upper side metals are more reactive than hydrogen, and below the hydrogen they are less reactive, because as I told you, they are arranged in the decreasing order of their activities. Now there is displacement reaction. Children, metals also show displacement reaction. What happens in this? As it is clear from the name, displace metals, a reaction in which more reactive metal, like potassium is more reactive than sodium, isn't it? Sodium is more reactive than calcium, calcium is more reactive than magnesium. So in this series, what happens, in this reaction, what happens, more reactive metal displaces, displace means shift, displaces less reactive metal from its salt solution. What does it mean? I will explain now. See in the slide, there are some reaction, 3 reactions are given there. CuSO4, this is copper sulfate. CuSO4 is copper sulfate. When it reacts with zinc, Zn, Zn means zinc. See what happens, you see in the table above reactivity series, you see zinc is placed above copper, isn't it? It means which one is more reactive, zinc or copper? Obviously zinc, because zinc is placed above copper. So zinc is more reactive. So what happens, zinc can displace copper from its solution. Zinc get combined with sulfate, it will form zinc sulfate, and it will displace copper from copper sulfate solution, because copper was present in the form of copper sulfate solution. Now zinc is, as zinc is more reactive, so it displaces copper from its salt solution. Got it? That's how this reaction takes place. Same way, CuSO4 plus Fe. Fe means iron. Now see above in the series, which is more reactive, iron or copper? See, iron is above copper, see again. So iron will is obviously more reactive. So what happens, that's how iron gets combined with sulfate and it displaces copper from its solution. Okay, and the third reaction, you see FeSO4 plus Cu. Now see which is more reactive. Just now among copper and iron, iron is more reactive, isn't it? Not copper. So how copper will displace iron? Because iron is more reactive than copper. That's why no reaction will take place here. To displace the metal, which one is more reactive, that will displace the less reactive metal from salt solution. But here in this reaction, the salt solution, the metal which is forming salt solution is more reactive, isn't it? That's why no reaction will be here. Got it? So you go through this reactivity series, you learn it, because in exam you can get any type of reaction. Okay, so go through it and learn it properly. Then only you would be able to answer the questions. More question I will give you on based on this reactivity series. Children, now we will discuss about the uses and uses of metals and non-metals. Okay, so first of all, if you look around, you see many objects or articles are made up of metals, isn't it? Your railings, your gate, and utensils, satellites, sorry, rockets, aeroplane, machineries, all the machinery, automobile, trains, industrial gadgets, all are made up of metals, isn't it? But now there are some more uses of non-metals. Okay, there are uses of non-metals. Non-metals are also very useful. How? One non-metal, that is oxygen. We all inhale oxygen to survive. We need oxygen. In breathing we take oxygen because we need this oxygen to survive. Then by inhaling only we are able to survive. So non-metals are very essential for life. Example, oxygen, which is very necessary for the survival of human life. Other nonmetals like nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, NPK. I explained this in lesson 1. NPK, they are used in fertilizers to enhance the growth of plant as they increase the fertility of the soil. Other non-metal like chlorine, it is used in water purification as it kills germs. And one, there is iodine. Okay, iodine in the form of tincture iodine. You must have heard tincture iodine. It must be having in your home also. It is used as an antiseptic to heal wounds. If you get hurt, you should apply tincture iodine, and you are applying also. You must be applying. That is iodine. It is a non-metal. Sulfur, carbon, etc. Phosphorus, they all are used in crackers. Crackers are made up of all these things, all the non-metals. Some noble gases like neon, argon, krypton, neon lights. You must have heard about the neon lights. So they are used in different types of lights. Okay, diamond is used in jewelry as well as for cutting glass. Nitrogen is used for making ammonia gas. Nitrogen is a non-metal used for making ammonia gas. And coal is also a non-metal used as a fuel. And children, liquid hydrogen. Hydrogen is non-metal. Liquid hydrogen, it is used in as a fuel in rockets. Okay. And oxygen is also used in filling oxygen cylinders which are required for the patients suffering with breathing problem, isn't it? So see, non-metals are also very, very useful for us. So children, now this chapter is complete. Okay, go through all these slides properly. It is very important chapter. You will this chapter will be in your 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. Okay, you will get in more detail, but these are the basics. So you should remember and you should go through it properly. And try to do book exercises yourself with the help of these slides. If you have any problem, you can contact me. So that's all for today. Thank you.